Hello, I'm David Frazier, the founder of Investors Monitor and the president and chief market strategist of Frazier and Mayer Research LLC, our independent investment research firm. We're recording the third in a series of new videos that we plan to record every week during 2018 regarding factors and developments that are likely to affect the worldwide financial markets and the values of our watchers and listeners' investment portfolios. We're recording this week's video, which we refer to as our market factor video, where we cover overall broad factors and developments that we expect to affect the financial markets. We're recording this week's market factor video on Sunday, January the 22nd at, wow, it was Sunday, January 21st. Let me rephrase. Actually, we're recording this week's video on Monday, January 22nd at 12 o'clock midnight. So, wow, a lot of nonsense going on regarding a supposed government shutdown. If you listen to the general media, regardless of what stations you tune into, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, there's a significant government shutdown going on. And the reality of the situation is, this is all a bunch of nonsense. This is a soap opera. This is a show that gives media folks something to talk about. In essence, there is no government shutdown. Now, there are certain agencies of the U.S. government, the federal government, that have been shut down, and that a large number of employees at those agencies have been not to report to work, have been asked to not report to work on Monday, January the 22nd. But every critical agency of the federal government is still open, and persons that work at those agencies are still have been told to report to work this week, the week of January 22nd to the 26th. Let me take a quick look here. I'll give you an example. If you give me just a moment. Let's see. For example, it's just utterly ridiculous. I'm going to our internet website. The U.S. Department of Defense is still open, and everyone that works for the Department of Defense, meaning primarily military personnel, are still working. U.S. Department of Homeland Security is open. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency is open. U.S. Department of Transportation, including the Federal Aviation Administration and the air traffic controllers that work for that administration, are still working. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, is open. Federal Bureau of Prisons is open. Social Security Administration and other government benefits agencies is still open. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services is open. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is open. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and Veterans Hospitals is still open. The U.S. Postal Service is open. Amtrak, a quasi-government agency, is still open. The government is not shut down. I mean, once again, certain agencies or departments that are not critical have been closed to some extent, but even the National Park Service is still open. The museums are open. This is not a government shutdown. So don't pay any attention to this nonsense. It's a soap opera. It's a drama. And several times in the past, when the government was supposedly shut down for several days and sometimes a couple of weeks, stock prices actually moved higher during those supposed shutdowns. And I expect stock prices in general during the week ahead, January 22nd to the 26th, to move a bit lower. But it has nothing to do with the government shutdown. Now, you're going to hear media people tell you that's what they're going to blame a decline in stock prices that I expect to happen. That is, I don't know it's going to happen, but I'm pretty confident it will during the week of January 22nd to the 26th. Please forgive me. It's late at night. I'm a bit tired. You're going to hear all kinds of media personnel blaming the stock market pullback on the government shutdown. But if that were to occur, which I do expect to happen, it has nothing to do with the government shutdown. It has to do with the fact that stock prices in general is measured by price momentum statistics and valuation statistics to some degree, have been trading at extended levels and in substantial overbought territory for about 3 weeks now. So we're due for a temporary stock market pullback. But if we look at what's going on around the globe economically and really geopolitically too, but primarily economically, there's a very large number of economic statistics that indicate very strongly that major regions of the world are improving, continuing to improve, that the pace of economic growth in the United States, the Eurozone, Japan, China, Brazil, India that the pace of economic growth in those regions of the world is going to remain healthy and to likely accelerate during the first quarter of this year. So I'm going to keep this week's market factor video very, very short. I'm going to wrap it up right there. I just wanted to comment on the supposed government shutdown and to let you, our watchers and listeners, know that at least in our very experienced opinion, there's really no reason to pay any attention to this whatsoever. And I would suggest that you monitor stocks closely that you're thinking about buying, and on any pullbacks during the week ahead, I suggest that you consider adding some money to those stocks. Thank you for listening. I'll speak with you again next week.